My name is Shiyun Ye. I originally come from China and I came to United States in 2016. I am currently working at a Fortune 500 company as a private client investment associate in the financial services industry. My journey up till today was not easy, but we can go to details and Coach Kwan is certainly playing a big role in my journey. So thank you, everybody.
Oh, so wonderful. Thank you for being here and sharing your experience, and your journey with the community. So you said that it wasn't easy, but at this point, if everyone, like, let's say, look on your LinkedIn profile, they would be saying like, oh, I want to be her. I want to be like her. She's so lucky, right? Everyone usually say that. And we all said that before when we were younger. When we see a professional's life out there, we always say, they are so lucky. I want to be lucky like them. So can you share with our community a little bit if this depends on luck?
So whether it depends on luck, sometimes I always reflect and think half of it is luck maybe, but half of it is because we prepared ourselves to the point that when the luck comes, we are able to grab it. That's how I see it. But of course, sometimes timing is also a big part of it, but we cannot only see that. If I have to introduce my journey up till 2024, and I have to go back so long ago, I came here in 2016, and my first pivotal point comes 2 years later, was 2018. 2020 was when Coach Kwan came. That's the most important one, but let me start 2 years earlier. So I came here and I was the straight A student. I focused on study only. I got 4.0 GPA. I was so happy. And something happened in the beginning of 2018. Due to my family's poor financial decision, I had to cover most of my expenses, including boarding fee, tuition fee, and just smaller expenses. That pushed me to start looking into my career path. That's why I first started going to Career Center, learning what is LinkedIn. How do I do interview skills? And how do I do network even? So I started working as a cashier at school's bookstore. Then eventually from there, I was able to finally grasp what is interview skills. Then I was chosen within campus to be a peer advisor and then also a tutor. So I had 2 in-campus jobs when I was a sophomore to junior year. During that time, I learned international students, if we want to study outside of campus, we have to apply for CPT. That's when I did my research on what is CPT, what is OPT, and able to get an internship at a New York boutique wealth management firm. At that time, what this period had taught me was 1, time management is crucial, not only in our career, but also in our life. Because I was a full-time student trying to save money, taking extracurricular, but at the same time, working 2 on-campus jobs, at the same time, working a full-time internship. So time management is important, a good lesson to learn early on. The second lesson from that is a hard pill because that taught me certain sacrifices has to be made in order to survive. The sacrifices I made was my resting time, also a lot of social life. But without those periods, I wouldn't be able to be where I am today as well. That's a long stretch, but those valuable experiences has taught me these 2 very hard lessons early on. So that's lesson in 2018. And then because of my experiences working, I was able to secure 2 full-time offers when 2020 comes. I was supposed to graduate in 2019 December because I took extracurricular. My original graduation date is 2020 in May. This is where international students needs to research a little bit more. In 2019, I learned for international students, we are able to take 1 lesson or 1 class in our last semester if we couldn't find a job. And this small information that I learned saved myself because 2020 happened. COVID happened. Even I was able to secure 2 offers, one from HSBC in Hong Kong, one from Charles Schwab in Austin, Texas. However, in January 2020, HSBC offer was canceled. And then Charles Schwab offer was withdrew because they couldn't sponsor international students due to budget cut. Then what should I rely on? I relied on this small information, enrolled myself in one class, so I'm able to stay in United States as an F1 student. Again, planning ahead was very important. That's another lesson. However, the difficult part in 2020 was when every company was in hiring freeze and we were in lockdown. We couldn't go outside to network. And on top of that, I only had 9 months in my OPT. So I need to bring up H-1B sponsorship immediately during interviews. No matter I want to push this a little bit further, I cannot. So in 2020, this is when Coach Kwan came into my life because I network with different people, and one other international student has kindly introduced me to this community. From there are certain lessons I learned. One is certainly the organizing skills Coach Kwan was teaching us about how to organize with Excel with our job searches. The second thing is networking is not just to go out there and get what we want. Networking is building genuine relationships, even though we cannot receive what we want today. But if the mutual respect is there, just keep the relationship, and we never know. It could be a long-lasting friendship. That's 2 lessons I learned from Coach Kwan.
That's wonderful wrap up, Shiyun. I'm so proud of you.
But that's really what I learned. And that's why I wanted to give back to this community a lot. In 2020, that's when we cannot network. We cannot even go out and feel the social aspect. I will say being an international student was very hard because you don't have family, you don't have much friends after graduation, and you are in a tunnel vision of trying to find a job. And all you can see is that. The crucial part when somebody else has to pull you out of that very narrow vision. And this is what Coach Kwan and this community had helped me. I was so anxious trying to look for a job. Without a job, I feel I was worthless at that moment. However, within the soft skill, hard skill I was learning, and then thinking very hard, what should I do? I believe all international students will be facing these choices a lot when a difficult period came. A lot of people will tell us we can go home. Other set of people will tell us you can keep following your dream, but at what expenses? I want to share in 2020, it wasn't easy because of the external circumstances. It was a little bit struggle to finally put my eyes in one decision because I always jump back and forth. What's the ending, like the last straw was the inner voice. So probably that's when my husband came in years later and telling me, oh, this is your why. At that time, my inner voice is telling me just try a little bit harder because we have come this far. Just try a little bit harder. And so the decision in the end was I went to Abercrombie and Fitch and asked them, can you give me a chance to work as your manager with my college degree? However, I don't need work sponsorship. And I will make sure I study very hard for my GRE so I can get another F1 student visa as a graduate student. At that time, I can utilize that work authorization and continuously contributing to you as a manager. And all of this, I will do it myself. With this speech, one of the managers gave me a chance. And I was able to start as an Abercrombie Fitch manager and utilizing the 9 months OPT and study very hard with my GRE. Fast forward to 2021, I received multiple graduate schools offer. Again, financial difficulty, hard choice. How am I gonna fund myself? I already went that far. So I researched a little bit and luckily found a organization that sponsors, I won't say sponsor, they loan private student loan to international students without cosigner. The interest rate was high, but that was my only choice. I decided to take a leap of faith. Yes, this is very important. Just to take the leap of faith, no matter what other people are telling you. I signed the contract. I got the fund for my graduate program. I went to Abercrombie and Fitch and I told them I would like to start my graduate school already. Is there any way that Abercrombie and Fitch is able to sponsor me? Is it H1B?
Mhm.
Because I am in a management position. The HR was very nice in the company as well. They actually looked into that, but they couldn't do it due to there will be a gap between my school year and the H1B, the lottery year. Anyway, fast forward. So another pivotal point, 2021, my graduate school starts. I learned planning ahead was so important. I got an in-campus job at the Career Center at Rutgers Brunswick University. Because I work inside the Career Center, I was able to see different network opportunities, different seminars, and different events. From there, I was able to get in touch with a boutique wealth management firm in Jersey City again. Very fortunate, they understand sponsorship inside out because they had sponsored people before and they are Chinese. So I was able to earn an internship there before I graduate. And after I graduate, they gave me a full-time offer. That's how I started my career after my graduate school. I believe it was in 2022. Those experiences is very, very precious because the knowledge I learned from the industry helped me to move forward with another job opportunity, which is where I am in today. The biggest push that made me decided I should look for another job opportunity that may extend my career path further was my husband. At that time, he was my boyfriend, but he was so impressed by how international students just keep pushing our limits and keep doing everything we could to be on top of our game. He told me in the end of 2022, I am very impressed by you, your personality, your strong strive for success, everything. And I wanted to ask you, because he tried to be not offensive, I wanted to ask you if you will be willing to marry me, but not just because it will be easier for your career. Just wanted to ask, put it up on the table, see if you would like it. And I will be honest, it took me a month to finally say yes. And that's the biggest push. I decided, okay, let me find another opportunity because now I feel my journey as an international student finally reached a peak that I don't have to go to an interview and the interviewer first question, do you need sponsorship? Oh, you do. Never mind. We will talk next time. This experience had happened so many times, but now I have the courage to say I am still in my OPT, but I am in the process of having a permanent work authorization. And that's up till now, my job search journey.
Wow. It is so inspiring, 100%. One thing that I would like you to share with our friends who are listening to us right now is the question that your husband asked you when he first met you. Can you share that question?
Sure. So when I first met my husband, he asked me
Uh-huh.
this question that I didn't even think before. So it's after he learned how international students' journey was very hard to find a job. He
Mhm.
asked me, if it's this difficult and very hard, why do you want to keep trying? What makes you want to stay?
Mm.
This question, I have never thought of it myself because I mentioned a tunnel vision or just focus on what's in hand. We are so focused on our action, and I just keep working, keep trying, and never stopped and think about why. After thinking about this question for 2 minutes during that first meeting, I told him it's because an inner voice was telling me I want to build something of my own. And in order to do that, there are obstacles, but in the end, this is our why. I want to build something. He was impressed by that, and I was pretty impressed by this answer myself too. Having this why figured out for myself, it helped to support me in all of my actions later on. And I didn't know how important this question was. And very happy that somebody else brought it up.
So important. Having that why, right? Because the journey, whenever you want to achieve something great, there's a process, there's a journey. It's not going to be like winning a lottery because that is less than 1% chance, right?
Yes, yes, that's just very, very hard. The first question you did mention is luck, a crucial part. Because we are international students for the lottery, that luck is very important.
Yeah.
But we cannot only rely on that. We have to prepare ourselves for every other alternatives and every type of aspects. And then we can sit there and say, let luck be our fate. But we did everything we could.
100% with you on that. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity.
Oh, yes.
And Shiyun, you created that luck yourself because you have prepared for it. And when the opportunity knocks on your door, you're ready to grab it.
Thank you so much. I still need to prepare more. And that's one thing I always want to try harder and harder.
I know. I completely understand. With all of this journey, I completely understand that it is a non-stop process, right?
Yes.
It's a non-stop journey. It's not like I reached to that point. Now I can just relax and let it roll. It's not like that. So maybe let us share with our community about your technique to maintain your mindfulness, to build your professional journey here in the US a little bit.
I see. I see. So I prepared 3 advices, and
Yeah.
the first one is sincerely from my heart, but I do want to warn it could be a little bit hard pill, like a tough pill to swallow.
Mhm.
The first advice is we should always be prepared for an unfair game, but never let the negativity get you. The reason is because we know of the rule we are playing towards. We sometimes will fall under the victim mindset that why is this happening to us? And why only I am experiencing all of these things? And unfortunately, the way I see it is to switch. Yes, it is very hard for me, and I understand it. This is the reality. Recognize it is unfair, unfortunately, but we cannot let any of it to get to us because we are the one who owns our story. If we want to get out of this reality, we choose to try something else. And that's the first thing I always do. I hope it helps, but I am afraid it's a little bit tough. And then the second advice I have for all of our community and even other people who wants to study abroad, but hearing all of our struggles, don't be afraid. Because if I look back, my decision of coming to United States for education is still one of the best decisions I've made for myself as an individual growing up. There are 3 C's in life. I forgot which book I read it from, but there are 3 C's in life. One is chance, choice, and change. Our choices today to take the chance will be the one that change our life. If I look back, the choice I made to study abroad is the chance I took, and that completely changed my life. This networking call could be the choice you are making today and could be a chance you'll be receiving and might change your life. Maybe not immediately, but could be later. That's a good way to look at it. Look at everything you do today. That's my second advice. Bigger part could be if you want to study abroad or not. Look into this. And then the third advice I will give out is because my culture is very different from the United States culture. When I first came here, there's so many culture shocks and there's so many different voices. There are temptations, there are different opinions. I usually suggest to reflect daily, weekly, monthly. It's to help us to build a core belief and to make us not easily be swayed by the outside voices. This internal belief can be different for anyone. It's different for me, it's different for you, but your internal belief will help you in the long run, just like how I found my why.
Internal belief. That's so important.
Yeah. And this is my three advices, or that's how I deal with my struggles every day.
So important, Shiyun. It came from within,
Yes.
right? Build your strength from within. And there will be the unfairness in this game,
Yeah.
but you have to be prepared for it.
Yes. Face it because we know it's there. We cannot deny it, but face it.
Yes, yes. And always build backup plans too,
Yes,
as
that's
an international student. Mhm.
yes, that's actually very important. Throughout my pivotal points, I do have backup plans. So, for example, while I study for my GRE, I was saving money too to make sure if my F1 student visa didn't go through as a graduate student, if the student loan wasn't prepared enough, what's my alternative? And of course, the alternative is to go back, but it doesn't mean just go back. Simple as that. Which city you want to be in, which type of industry you want to be in. The economy is very different. What type of economy you really want to stand in?
So true.
All of it.
Yes. And with this, changing environment that we are in, right? Things like change is inevitable these days. We had the pandemic, we had like virtual work, and we moved back. The economy hit, the banking crisis, and
Yeah.
now AI replaced
Yeah.
human work. What's going to happen next year? We don't know.
We don't know.
Adaptability is so important. Being resilient and stay, flexible, adaptable.
Also, another thing is always remember the only thing that doesn't change is change itself. That's how I see it as well. Every day things change. It could be in bigger part or in smaller part of how your hair looks today, how the way you talk today. But be prepared.
Be prepared. At the same time, be present.
That's a good point. Do you mind if I ask you, how do we be present?
I don't mind at all. And thank you so much for asking this question because it means so much to me.
Mm.
During this journey coaching students, I have also seen my younger self in
Oh.
all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be so worried about my future, thrown back by the past that I feel disappointed, right? But those are things that don't serve you. So being present will help you move forward and be able to shape your future. Now, to your question, how to be present is about being here and now. The first thing that is so important is to know how to breathe. Mindful breathing is so important. When you start to worry about something, it's just common. From time to time, worries, anxiety, fears, come to my mind. But how to stop it is to at least 3 times. And now you become present. Exercising also helps giving the chemical in the body that help inject positivity. That will help you become present as well.
No, it just reminds me of a book. I think the book's title is called The Power of Now.
Yes, I
Yeah.
have that book too. Mhm.
I remember in my most anxious time, I believe is between my graduate school is about to start and I was just waiting because I was waiting for the new student visa. I just
Mhm.
applied for the loan. I actually didn't know if I will have a job lined up after my
Mhm.
graduate school, but I have this loan I need to pay off. That was my most anxious time. And that's when I read the book, The Power of Now.
Great.
I forgot what it did to me, but I do remember every day for 10 minutes, I will read it in front of the bench in front of my old apartment. I don't remember exactly, but I remember the feeling. It was a feeling of listening to the bird, enjoying the sunlight, just a feeling of everything would be fine. But I was still anxious, I will be honest.
Yeah, that is common, right? But at least you are aware of your anxiety that, okay, right now I have that anxiety. It's like waking yourself up from that bad dream. You are so brave and you're bold and you keep moving forward. So where you are right now, you deserve it.
Thank you.
And this is just the journey, right? It's
Yes.
going to be another raft that will take you to the next destination. And you will realize all the things that I have done in the past, it bring me to today. So what I do today, it will bring me to the future.
Thank you so much. It's a new journey for me at this moment. So I'm still trying to adapt to this new change. And
Mhm.
hopefully, in the next year or the years forward, we can still get together. I would always love to get back to international student community, no matter which stage I am in, because it's just different. It's a different type of job search for us.
And you are doing it right now. You have been helping people in our community, sharing your advice, your journey. This is so important for
No.
them to be able to listen to you. Oh, thank you so much. And I'm so happy that you reached out to me, this summer to set up this call for us to talk about all of these important milestones for the students to be aware of.
Yes. And hopefully in the future, I will be able to help them regarding CPT, OPT, but I know you
Mhm.
do an excellent job in that. But if they need the little details of how to talk to international department, how to get that
Yeah.
done, I don't mind helping at all.
Let us do another episode about that,
Sure. Okay. No.
shall we? In the future?
Yes. Because planning ahead, especially with OPT,
Mhm.
is
So important. 100% with you on that. Yeah, let us plan. Maybe,
sure.
we can do some other episode for the students.
No problem, because I would also like to share the mistake I've made. I use
Mhm.
my post OPT as pre OPT without realizing it's taking my time out of my post OPT. So
Right.
I don't know if it changed today, but hopefully by sharing this, no one will ever make the same mistake.
Don't use pre-OPT.
That,
No. CPT if you can. And if not, that's okay. Volunteer, in professional organizations, if you don't have CPT, then save your post OPT and always apply for 90 days before graduation. And you can push the date further out if you're not sure when you're going to get a job, right? Max
oh,
out to like 60 days after graduation, but never delay the day that you apply for your post OPT, because I know a lot of students who already graduated this summer, they are
yes.
still waiting for their EAD card. Yeah,
Wait,
it's
it's
delayed.
May.
Yeah, people that applied for OPT back in April, they are still waiting for EAD card right now, and we are in July. Yes, I advise students to call the USCIS office as well. And they said it's on track, but there's a backlog because I'm not sure how many graduates this year, but this usually happens during spring graduation because this
Yeah,
is the highest
everybody.
amount of graduates comparing to the winter time.
I see. Wow.
Mm.
So when 90 days start hitting, put it in.
Yes, if you're sure that you are graduating, making sure that you apply for that OPT as early as 90 days before graduation date.
Wow. I actually know a lot of people will hesitate because they don't know when's the first day they should be putting in. Like I will
Yeah,
interviews and those people want to start immediately, graduation starts. But what if I don't get the job? And then my starting date I already submitted is July.
yeah.
So that was a struggle. I remember.
Yeah, I know. I know it's, a process, right? And it's not just about looking for job. You have to watch out for those authorization as well. Yeah.
I I remember what I did was I really put in my OPT, post OPT,
Mm-hmm.
60 days after, like I
Mm-hmm.
extended as much as possible. When I
Mm-hmm.
go to interview, I will tell them up front that my starting day will be this time. And unfortunately did make a lot of opportunities go away, but I personally still think it's a good way.
Mm. Yes, it really depends, right? Like if you have a job offer in place,
Mhm.
then you should have that start date as early as possible. But if you don't, and you, let's say you plan for, relax a little bit or whatever your plan is,
Yeah. Mm.
then I would recommend you not to work on that start date by yourself. Consult with someone, your
Ah,
academic advisor, or if you're part of ICAway, please always reach out to me so I can help brainstorm that because
ah,
there are lots of things to consider.
yes, different factors.
Mhm.
That time I didn't know Coach Kwan. So yes, I made the decision myself.
Well, but you're here and you have gone through that process. Yeah,
And
that's
hopefully
okay.
in the future, other students will be able to learn.
Yes. So yes, we are trying our best to make sure that we have that on the game plan. Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
testimony, Coach Kwan's lesson is really important. We learn so much, especially so much information on how international students can work around the rules and still be ourselves. That's very important.
That means so much, Shiyun, coming from you. Yes, how we can strive through all of this but remain our authenticity, right? Well, we have learned so much from your journey today. If anyone have any specific things to ask Shiyun, let's say if you are listening to us through YouTube,
Mhm.
comment below the video, leave some questions or any other topics that you want Shiyun to share with you in the future. We can
Yeah.
create an episode on that.
Yes. I would be love to share anything you would like to hear.
Wonderful.